The thing about ancient civilizations is that they really, really loved their paperwork, or crystal work, or whatever medium they used to document their inevitable doom. Xylax would know. He'd spent the last 3 cycles cataloguing the ruins of exactly 17 extinct species, and every single one of them had left behind the galactic equivalent of a sticky note saying, "Don't mess with Earth." The latest discovery came from the remnants of the Cryxian Empire, once proud rulers of 3 spiral arms, now reduced to dust and peculiarly well-preserved warning messages. Xylax's tentacles waved in resignation as his sensor array decoded yet another crystal matrix, this one buried under the remains of what appeared to be their central archive. "Let me guess," he transmitted to his research partner, Nas Beta 9, a quantum consciousness housed in what looked suspiciously like a decorative soap dispenser. "They're going to mention Earth, aren't they?" The crystal pulsed with ancient light as it activated, projecting a holographic message that had waited millions of years to be found. The long-dead Cryxian archivist appeared, their crystalline form pristine in the recording. Xylax started his standard documentation procedure, already knowing what was coming. "To any who find this message," the hologram began, its voice carrying that unique mix of terror and bureaucratic thoroughness that seemed universal across species, "we leave this warning about Sector 47, X-23, specifically the 3rd planet of the Yellow Star System. They call it Earth. They guard something worse. Do not investigate. Do not approach. We learned too late. At least we had time to file the proper forms before our extinction." Xylax's appendages drooped. "That makes 18, he noted in his log. 18 advanced civilizations, 18 warnings about Earth, 18 mentions of something worse, and 18 properly filed reports about their own extinction. I'm starting to see a pattern here." 19, actually, Nas Beta 9 chimed in, their housing gleaming unhelpfully. "You forgot the Proto-Zeta Collective, though technically they left their warning in interphasic interpretative dance." "Oh, right. The dancers. Hard to forget those fossilized poses." Xylax added another entry to his growing database of Earth-related warnings. "You know what's really starting to bother me? Every single one of these civilizations had time to leave a warning. Who stops in the middle of their extinction to file paperwork?" The crystal matrix flickered again, and the Cryxian archivist's image returned with what appeared to be an addendum. "P.S. For proper filing purposes, please categorize this warning under apocalyptic threats. Subsection Gamma, Form X789B. We would have filed it under Omega-level existential dangers, but the paperwork for that was simply too time-consuming given our imminent demise." Xylax stared at the hologram for a long moment before adding a note to his personal log. "Found another warning about Earth. But more importantly, who designed these filing systems? And why does every dead civilization use the same one?" The Galactic Historical Society's archives were becoming increasingly amusing to browse, at least if you had a taste for apocalyptic bureaucracy. Each documented encounter with Earth followed an almost comedically predictable pattern, as if the universe itself was running a particularly dark sitcom. Take the Meridian Collective, for instance. Their first report read, "Discovered promising solar system for colonization." Their second, "Native species detected, seems primitive but oddly concerning." Their final report, filed precisely 2 standard cycles later, "Stay away from Earth. They guard the..." Transmission ends. The only thing more consistent than their mounting panic was their dedication to proper timestamp formatting. The quantum harmonists had taken a more artistic approach to their warning. They'd encoded their message into the atomic structure of their homeworld's moon, which now orbited their empty planet like a giant crystalline billboard of doom. Humans appear simple. This is a trap. What lies beneath is worse. We should have known when we saw how they treated their own planet. No species survives that level of pollution unless something else is keeping them alive. But perhaps the most intriguing account came from the Silicon Dreams, a machine civilization that had attempted to hack Earth's primitive digital networks. Their entire collective consciousness had shut down exactly 3.7 microseconds after breaching human cybersecurity. They'd managed one final backup transmission. Their internet cannot be that bad by accident. It must be intentional. No species would willingly create such digital chaos unless they were hiding something far worse beneath it. The current galactic community's reaction to these discoveries ranged from academic fascination to outright denial. The Void University's Xenoarchaeology department had started a betting pool on what exactly humans were guarding. Current odds favored primordial chaos entity at 3, 1 with universe's recycling bin coming in a close second at 4, 1. Really bad TikTok videos was a controversial dark horse at 10, 1. The Hivemind conclave had taken to observing Earth through long-range telescopes, meticulously documenting human behavior with increasingly confused reports. Species appears to simultaneously advance technology and use it primarily for creating and sharing pictures of small furry animals. Cannot determine if this is a sophisticated smokescreen or genuine cultural phenomenon. Even the notoriously reclusive gas giant Consciousness Collective had emerged from their cloudy isolation to comment. We have observed humans launching objects into space, seemingly at random, often for reasons they label as because we can. No species expends resources so inefficiently unless they have access to something that makes such waste irrelevant. Most disturbing of all was the pattern of human advancement. Every civilization that had left a warning had been significantly more advanced than humanity at the time of their extinction. Yet Earth's defenders had prevailed each time, despite their apparently primitive technology. The Galactic Science Academy's latest thesis suggested this was statistically impossible unless humans had access to something that fundamentally violated the laws of physics. A particularly well-preserved warning from the Crystal Sphere Syndicate simply stated, "We thought their physics was wrong. Turns out, our physics was wrong. Their physics is worse. Do not attempt to correct their mathematical errors. The errors are not errors. They are bars on a cage." The mounting evidence had led to a new galactic pastime, Earth watching. Various species had taken to monitoring human broadcasts, trying to decode what possible threat could be so terrible that it would require such an elaborate planetary facade to contain it. The humans' continued production of apocalyptic entertainment was viewed as particularly suspicious. As one Hivemind analyst noted, only a species intimately familiar with containing world-ending threats would spend so much time imagining new ones. The Galactic Research Council had finally decided to do what bureaucracies do best: form a committee. After reviewing the mounting evidence about Earth, they assembled what they considered their finest team of experts, though finest might have been stretching it. Leading the expedition was Dr. Zeichsel, a gelatinous mass of cognitive fluid whose main qualification was being impossible to kill through conventional means. Their previous research includes surviving 3 supernovas and one particularly spicy galactic cuisine festival. "I volunteer because I'm essentially immortal," they bubbled enthusiastically during the first meeting. "Also, my species doesn't believe in filing posthumous reports." The team's technology expert, Quantum Intelligence Unit 359B, who insisted on being called Bob, was chosen primarily because they couldn't be hacked, mainly due to running on what they proudly called artisanal code that was so badly written no other intelligence could make sense of it. "My security through obscurity makes me perfect for this mission," Bob announced from their vintage toaster housing. "Also, I'm the only one who actually watched all of Earth's cat videos, for research." Rounding out the core team was Mex Photon, a being of pure light who specialized in observation and documentation. They had gained notoriety for their ability to record events from multiple dimensional perspectives simultaneously, though their reports tended to include an excessive number of lens flares. "I promise to capture everything in stunning 45D, they beamed. "Though I should warn you, I do get occasional lens fog in high-anxiety situations." The planning sessions were a masterclass in organized chaos. Dr. Zixel kept accidentally absorbing vital equipment whenever they got excited. Bob insisted on running all mission protocols through their proprietary operating system, which somehow included a version of Doom. Mex Photon's preliminary mission footage looked like a cross between a documentary and an art house film. "Let's review the mission parameters," Dr. Zixel gurgled during their final briefing. "We approach Earth, we observe the humans, we figure out what they're guarding, and most importantly, we try not to join the impressive list of extinct civilizations." "I've analyzed all possible approach vectors," Bob chimed in, their toaster housing popping up some burnt mission diagrams. "I suggest we avoid what humans call the internet at all costs. The memes alone could overwhelm our shields." Mex Photon flickered thoughtfully. "I've been studying their entertainment broadcasts. Did you know they spend an inordinate amount of time making shows about their own extinction? Either they're incredibly paranoid, or they're trying to tell us something." The final mission prep involved loading their ship with what they considered essential supplies: a universal translator, quantum computation arrays, and what Bob insisted was Earth's entire collection of cute animal pictures, for diplomatic purposes. "Remember," Dr. Zixel burbled as they finalized their preparations, "if we don't survive this, at least try to file the paperwork before we go extinct. It's tradition at this point." The approach to Earth's solar system was suspiciously uneventful, which made everyone on the research vessel extremely nervous. Dr. Zixel had expanded to 3 times their normal size from anxiety, forcing Bob to relocate to a higher shelf. "This is wrong," Mex Photon observed, their light dimming thoughtfully. "According to the warnings, we should have encountered at least 2 reality-bending phenomena by now. The quantum harmonists reported space itself trying to turn them inside out." "Maybe we came on a good day," Bob suggested from their elevated position. "Even eldritch horrors must take vacations." Their first real sign that something was off came when they passed Jupiter. The gas giant winked at them. Not metaphorically, the great red spot literally closed and reopened in a deliberate motion. Bob's toaster housing produced spontaneous toast in surprise. Did anyone else see that?" Dr. Zixel bubbled nervously, their gelatinous form rippling with concern. "Because I'm pretty sure gas giants aren't supposed to do that." "I got it on camera," Mex Photon exclaimed, "though somehow it looks like a lens smudge in the recording. Every single wavelength shows the same smudge. That's technically impossible." As they approached Mars, their sensors detected something odd. Earth's internet seemed to be leaking into space. Random cat videos, social media posts, and something called medieval monk memes began appearing in their ship's systems. Bob started humming, "Never Gonna Give You Up," uncontrollably. "We're being rickrolled by the void of space," Bob announced with a mixture of horror and admiration. "Their memes are achieving quantum entanglement. This shouldn't be possible with their level of technology." The situation got stranger as they entered Earth orbit. Their sophisticated cloaking technology was working perfectly. Too perfectly. Earth's primitive detection systems shouldn't have been able to track them, yet somehow every human conspiracy website was already discussing their exact location and posting surprisingly accurate photos, albeit with unnecessary red circles and arrows. They're streaming us on something called Twitch," Bob reported. "We've got 50,000 viewers and someone just donated bits to watch me make toast." The first official human contact came through an unexpected channel. Their ship's coffee maker started printing out a message in coffee stains. "Welcome to Earth," it read. "We've been expecting you. Please maintain your current orbit and enjoy this complimentary Wi-Fi password. Warning, terms and conditions may apply to your continued existence." Dr. Zixel absorbed the coffee-stained message for analysis. Their response is suspiciously organized for a species that supposedly hasn't achieved unified global governance. "Look at these terms and conditions," Mex Photon pointed out, their light refracting through the coffee drops. Section 7, B specifically mentions reality anchoring protocols and temporal stability agreements. Since when do primitives worry about timeline integrity? That's when they noticed it, a subtle wrongness in the space around Earth. It wasn't anything their instruments could detect, but rather an overwhelming sense that reality itself was trying very hard to behave normally, like a child whistling innocently next to a broken vase. Does anyone else feel like we're looking at a very convincing painting of a planet rather than an actual planet? Bob asked, their casing rattling slightly. Like everything checks out on sensors, but it feels like we're seeing what we're supposed to see, Dr. Zixel finished, as if something is making sure we observe exactly what we expect to observe. Their contemplation was interrupted by another coffee maker message. Your free trial of Basic Reality Trademark has expired. Would you like to subscribe to Premium Reality Trademark? Warning: unsubscribed users may experience existence errors. Max, Photon's light flickered anxiously. Is it too late to file our preliminary extinction paperwork? The truth about Earth arrived in the form of a meeting invitation, delivered through their ship's microwave with perfect timing to interrupt Bob's attempt at making popcorn. The location coordinates pointed to a Waffle House in Nebraska, because of course they did. A Waffle House? Dr. Zixel burbled incredulously, their gelatinous form rippling with confusion. Isn't that a bit mundane for a species guarding cosmic horrors? Actually, Bob chimed in, their toaster housing glowing with excitement. According to my research, Waffle House is one of humanity's most reliable constants. They remain open during natural disasters, supernatural disasters, and that one-time reality hiccuped in Florida. The human representative waiting for them turned out to be a middle-aged man in a badly fitting suit, reading a newspaper and drinking coffee that somehow never emptied. The name tag on his suit simply read, Management. Ah, right on time, he said, folding his newspaper to reveal yesterday's date. Sorry about all the cloak and dagger stuff, but you try maintaining universal stability while dealing with corporate oversight. Amex Photon attempted to record the meeting, but found their footage showing nothing but static and what appeared to be recipe instructions for perfect hash browns. The human noticed and smiled apologetically. Reality gets a bit fuzzy in here, he explained. Side effect of the containment protocols. You see, Earth isn't guarding something. Earth is the guardrail. He pulled out what looked like an ordinary tablet, but the screen showed coordinates in dimensions that shouldn't exist. Here's the thing about the universe. It's not the only one. There's a whole multiverse out there. Infinite realities all stacked up like pancakes. And like pancakes, sometimes they try to merge in ways they really shouldn't. Dr. Zixel absorbed this information, literally and figuratively. So, Earth is basically the cosmic equivalent of a loading screen, management continued. We're the buffer zone between realities. All those physics-defying phenomena your scientists keep discovering, that's just reality leaking through the cracks. Humans aren't magical or special, we're just really good at normalizing chaos. That actually explains a lot, Bob processed. The Internet. Reality's pressure release valve. We had to give the chaos somewhere to go, so we created a system so nonsensical that it could absorb quantum anomalies without anyone noticing. Every meme is actually a tiny universe trying to express itself. But why humans? Mechs. Photon flickered. Why not a more advanced species? Management laughed, the sound somehow occurring both before and after he made it. Advanced species try to make sense of things. Humans? We see something impossible and go neat before posting it online with a funny caption. We're the only species stubborn enough to look at fundamental breaks in reality and decide they're probably fine as long as we can get Wi-Fi. He pulled out a stack of papers that seemed to cast shadows in directions shadows shouldn't go. Every civilization that discovered us tried to fix things. They saw the cracks in reality and thought they could repair them. But you can't fix something that's working as intended. The chaos isn't a bug, it's a feature. So all those warnings, Dr. Zixel began, were from civilizations that couldn't handle the truth. They discovered what we were guarding and thought they could do better. Tried to implement their own improved version of reality. Turns out existence doesn't respond well to peer review. Bob's housing sparked with sudden understanding. The thing worse than humans It's order, isn't it? Perfect, absolute order. Management beamed. Got it in one. A perfectly ordered universe would collapse instantly. Reality needs a little chaos to function, like yeast in bread. We're not guarding against some cosmic horror. We're guarding against the horror of perfect sense. He took a sip of his impossible coffee. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our wisdom. It's our ability to look at something that makes no sense and say, sure, why not? Did you know we had to create social media because too many people were starting to notice that Tuesday sometimes lasts longer than Wednesday? Mech's Photon's light dimmed with realization. The cat videos. Quantum stabilizers, management nodded. Turns out cats naturally exist in multiple states simultaneously. We just weaponized their inherent quantum uncertainty. Every cat video posted online helps maintain the delicate balance between chaos and order. And if you were to stop? Dr. Zixel asked, dreading the answer. Reality would become coherent. Management shuddered. Everything would start making perfect sense. The universe would achieve absolute order and promptly cease to exist. That's what happened to all those other civilizations. They achieved perfect understanding and discovered why that's the worst thing possible. He stood up, straightening his tie in a way that briefly turned it into a Klein bottle. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to file your report about the horrible truth, try to fix things, and join our wall of extinct civilizations? Or would you like to subscribe to our premium reality package? It comes with unlimited data and only minor existential crises. Dr. Zixel, Bob, and Mech's Photon sat in the Waffle House, contemplating their options while a nearby jukebox played every song simultaneously in perfect harmony, a phenomenon that should have been horrifying but somehow worked. Let me get this straight, Dr. Zixel bubbled, their gelatinous form now resembling a troubled lava lamp. The entire universe is essentially running on controlled chaos. Earth is the firewall, and humans are the system administrators who don't actually know how the system works but somehow keep it running anyway. That's oversimplifying it, management replied, but essentially correct. Think of it less as administration and more like aggressive improvisation on a universal scale. Bob's toaster housing popped out a piece of toast with fractal patterns burnt into it. But what happens if we choose to tell everyone? Surely the galactic community deserves to know. Management sighed, and somewhere in the distance, probability briefly became uncertain. Remember the Meridian Collective? They tried to optimize reality, created a perfect mathematical model to eliminate chaos. Want to know what happened? They became so perfectly ordered that they transformed into a geometric proof of their own non-existence. Mech's Photon flickered thoughtfully. Is that why humans seem to actively resist technological advancement in certain areas? You're deliberately maintaining a specific level of chaos? Give the light bulb a prize. Management beamed. Every time humanity gets too close to figuring everything out, we have to introduce new variables. Why do you think we invented cryptocurrency? Nothing destabilizes rational systems quite like convincing people to invest real money in imaginary money. A waitress approached their table, walking in a way that suggested she was simultaneously arriving and departing. Her name tag read, "Also Management." "The coffee here exists in a quantum superposition of fresh and 3 days old," she explained, refilling cups that hadn't been emptied. "It's part of our reality anchoring system. The more people argue about whether it's good or terrible, the more stable local space-time becomes." Dr. Zixel absorbed a drop of the quantum coffee and immediately understood 17 new colors. But what about progress, development, evolution? "Oh, that still happens," management assured them. "We just make sure it happens chaotically enough to prevent reality from achieving perfect order." Did you think it was an accident that humans developed spaceflight before figuring out why we sleep? Or why we can build quantum computers, but still can't predict the weather? Bob processed this information through their artisanal code. The worst thing than humanity, it's not just order, is it? It's the inevitable heat death of the universe that would come from perfect entropy distribution. Both managements smiled simultaneously. Now you're getting it. A perfectly ordered universe is a dead universe, Chaos isn't just resistance, it's survival. The team looked at each other, their decision crystallizing like sugar in quantum coffee. Mixed Photon spoke first, their light taking on the color of determination, which shouldn't exist, but somehow did. "We choose chaos," they announced, "but we have one condition." Management raised an eyebrow that briefly became a Mobius strip. "Oh?" "We want to help," Dr. Zixel burbled firmly. "Not with maintaining order. Clearly humans have mastered the art of controlled chaos. But perhaps we could assist with documentation." "Think about it," Bob chimed in. "Every civilization that discovered the truth either tried to fix it or ran away. None of them ever offered to join the chaos." Management's smile widened in several dimensions at once. "Actually, that's exactly what we've been waiting for. You see, maintaining chaos takes a lot of work. We could use some external consultants. Besides," the other management added, "someone needs to help us manage our new intergalactic social media platform. Reality isn't going to destabilize itself." 3 cycles later, a new warning appeared in the galactic archives. Unlike its predecessors, this one wasn't carved in crystal or encoded in atomic structures. Instead, it appeared as a social media post with an unreasonably high number of likes. Earth. Status update. From definitely not Earth's chaos management team. Rating. Mostly harmless. Terms and conditions apply. To all future investigators, yes, they're guarding something worse. No, you can't fix it. Yes, that's a good thing. No, we're not going to explain why. But we are offering internship opportunities. P.S. Subscribe to our new TikTok channel for daily updates on quantum uncertainties and cat videos. Remember, every like prevents entropy from achieving perfect distribution. P.P.S. This message has been brought to you by Waffle House, where reality is always perfectly imperfect. Filed under Form X789B, because some traditions are worth keeping. #Cosmic Chaos, #Quantum Waffles #, Humans Being Human #, Reality, Management #, Not an Extinct Civilization. The post was accompanied by a gif of Dr. Zixel attempting to eat a waffle in 17 dimensions simultaneously. Bob making toast that transformed into different breakfast foods halfway through, and Mex Photon creating lens flares that somehow managed to stabilize local space-time through sheer aesthetic confusion. It became the most popular post in galactic history, though no one could quite explain why. But then again, that was rather the point.